This isn't the video that I thought I was going to be making today. But there's been tons of talk over the last few months about matchmaking in Warzone and how it works, and a bunch of crazy conspiracy theories about what they're doing, and I noticed something really strange today while I was playing Ranked Resurgence. We've been slowly moving our way up through the ranks. I just hit Platinum today, and the matchmaking so far has been perfect. And I don't mean, oh, it's been pretty good at matching us in terms of skill and lag and things like that, but it's been perfect. The sponsor of today's video is Holy Drinks. They make some amazing drinks without added sugar or caffeine. I've been trying out their Hydrate and iced tea drinks and absolutely love them. Use the link in the description below and make sure you use my voucher codes to get £5 off your first order. So, matchmaking in Ranked. For anyone who doesn't know, the way Warzone Ranked works, you get put into a certain division. So you start off in Bronze 1, and then you work your way up to Bronze 3, and then you go up to Silver 1, Silver 2, Silver 3, Gold, Platinum, Diamond, etc. And when we started playing Ranked, we were winning a lot of games. And I mean a lot of games. Like, I think at one point we'd played 7 games and won 5 of them, which felt absolutely crazy. Part of me started thinking, are we just amazing at Ranked? Am I just really good at Warzone now after all the practice I've put in? Maybe it's just that I don't do well on Urzikstan or Ashika or Vondel or Al Masra, and actually Fortune's Keep is just a map for me. But then as we started moving up through the ranks, the games started getting noticeably harder. Like, we weren't winning games anymore. We were often getting into the top 10 or the top 5, but enemies just seemed to be a lot better. And I wasn't winning every gunfight anymore. Instead, I was maybe winning, 2 out of 3, and then slowly maybe 1 out of 2. Now, don't get me wrong, we're still doing pretty well. Earlier today, my kill death over the last 10 games was over 4, which is absolutely unheard of for me. But the games are getting noticeably harder. But not only that, not only are the games getting harder in a way that you can perceive and you can kind of predict, but also we haven't had any games with any major lag problems. I think out of all of the ranked games I've played so far, I've maybe had one game that was consistently a little bit laggy throughout, which is pretty amazing considering I play at 9 AM in the morning on weekdays, which is when not many other people are about. But also we've had a couple of games where towards the end, we've noticed a little bit of lag, sometimes quite bad, which then clears up when a couple of players leave. And I'm not sure if that's people DDoSing or something like that. I've heard of people messing with the servers, and it seems like it suddenly happens towards the end of games, and then when some players time out, suddenly the whole thing is fixed. And we've also noticed another weird phenomenon, that at the beginning of every ranked game, it looks like 6 or 7 people get kicked. At first I thought, oh, is this a bunch of cheaters trying to get into games? Because I haven't noticed any cheaters in any of the ranked games I've played. But I thought maybe a bunch of them were getting kicked. But somebody in my chat told me what happens is if one player's game crashes while they're loading into the game, then their teammates will come up as getting kicked because it won't let you start a game if there's only 2 people on your team. So with all of that in mind, the fact that we weren't getting much lag, the difficulty was progressing and getting slightly harder every time we leveled up, and the fact that we haven't been coming across cheaters and the game is working as intended where it won't let people come into the game if they're not in full teams. It seemed crazy to us just how well this matchmaking is working, to the point where it's making me wonder, why doesn't the normal Warzone matchmaking work this well? For ages, I've been saying the reason Warzone matchmaking sometimes seems off is probably because there's not enough people playing in a given mode in your region at the time that you're playing. That it just has a really hard job of trying to get that many players together who have a good connection with each other, who all queued in at the same time, and are of a similar skill level. Like, that's a very, very difficult thing to be doing constantly when the games only take you like a minute or 2 to find at the most. But with Ranked Resurgence, everything seems to be working pretty much perfectly. Like, me and Findley were playing all day today. I've been consistently maybe 1 division above him, or we're in the same division. And as we've gone through, while we were both in Gold 1, we would pretty much only see Gold 1 players, or sometimes some Gold 2, sometimes some Silver 3. When we moved up to Gold 2, we would just see players who were in Gold 1, Gold 2, Gold 3. When I moved up to Gold 3 and he was in Gold 2, we would only see players in Gold 1, Gold 2, Gold 3. It's been able to consistently film games games with people who are at the same kind of division level as we are. When I moved up to Platinum today, so I finally got up to Platinum, I played one game after we got to Platinum, and immediately we started seeing Platinum players. And I had never seen a Platinum player before. It was like I've just crossed over into that threshold, and now I'm in Platinum. It's starting to find other people who are in Platinum to put us against. So what's going on here? How is this mode working so well? I've got two theories, so hear me out now and let me know in the comments which one of them you think's right, or if you've got a different idea about what might be going on. The first one, and personally I think this is the most likely one, is that Ranked Resurgence is unbelievably popular. I know I've seen some content creators saying, oh no, people don't want Ranked Resurgence, they want Ranked on the big map, or Ranked Resurgence doesn't really work very well, or whatever. I think that they're probably a little bit out of touch with the majority of the Call of Duty community. I think a lot of people really enjoy playing Resurgence. I actually saw Modern Warzone did a poll the other day, and out of their sort of viewers, or whatever you call it on Twitter, followers, I guess, out of those people, it was something like 60% of people preferred playing Resurgence. I think there's a lot of people who like playing Resurgence, and now it's got Ranked, that's probably the mode a lot of those people like playing, because like me, even if you're not the sort of person who's likely to ever get into the top 250 or even Crimson or Iridescent, it's still nice to be able to have some kind of sense of progress, to be able to feel like you're getting better and you're moving your way up through the ranks and be able to kind of have something to work towards. I set myself the target this season of getting into Platinum Ranked, and now we've managed to do that in a week. I'm kind of thinking, okay, maybe we'll be able to get into Diamond, maybe I'll even be able to get into Crimson this season. And I think probably a lot of other people are feeling the same way. That Fortune's Keep is a lot of fun, it's a really good map. Resurgence is a really fun way to play Call of Duty where you don't have all of the stresses of, okay, if you make a mistake and die, you're probably out of it for good. If you're playing with random teammates, you can still have a really good time in Resurgence, because if they're not with you, they're off on the other side of the maps going around doing stuff. It doesn't matter, because that still gives you a better chance to come back into the game. You don't need to rely on them kind of getting the money together and going to a buy station and buying you. Just them surviving is enough to get you back in. I just think there's so much in Resurgence that works well for people who like to play the game like me. People who like to be able to just kind of enjoy the game, have a bit of fun with it. They're maybe not as hyper competitive, but if you want to get competitive in a certain game, then you can still go and try and get the most SR possible in a match. So yeah, I think with this option, this is entirely possible that Ranked Resurgence is just an incredibly popular mode, and there's so many people playing it, even in weekday mornings, that there's enough people to get the matchmaking system to work properly. But I said there were two different options, two different ways to explain what's going on here. The second one is that maybe the matchmaking is just way more strict in Ranked. And this kind of makes sense. You would expect Ranked to be really strict. You would expect it to be trying to find people who are at the same level as you. Otherwise, it's kind of a little bit meaningless. Now, in my head, and this might entirely be in my head, when they did Ranked in Warzone 2 before, when we were back on Al Mazrah, I thought that if you went in, even as a bronze player, sometimes you would see platinum or diamond players. And if you were a platinum or diamond player, sometimes you would see bronze players. That it didn't feel very strict. It felt like there was a broad range of skills within every game. And you'd just end up with games being dominated by the handful of people, you know, the one or two teams that were like Crimson or Iridescent or something. They would wipe the floor with everybody else. In Ranked Resurgence, that's not happening. Like, I genuinely, until I hit Platinum today, I haven't seen a single player that was Platinum or higher. So maybe for this mode, they've just really cranked the matchmaking up. They've made it so you are only with people in your division or one side or the other of it. And a bit of kind of anecdotal evidence to support this idea is that when I started playing Ranked Resurgence, so this was maybe 2 or 3 days after it had launched, then we went in, and in those bronze matches, while we were trying to find bronze matches and do the matchmaking for them, it was taking quite a long time to find games. Like, sometimes it would be taking like 3-4 minutes to try and get us put into a game, which is way longer than I'm used to in Warzone. And then as we got into Silver, it became a little bit easier to find games. Games came around much quicker. And then in the matches today, where I was playing gold, even though I wasn't playing in the evening like I was before, I wasn't playing at the weekend like I was before, times when you'd expect there to be more people on, today, on a weekday morning in gold matches, we were finding games within like 20-30 seconds. It was super fast matchmaking. And that's kind of what you would expect if you think of the bell curve of kind of player skill and player level, that the majority of players are probably around in gold. I don't think Call of Duty have released any sort of official statistics on how many people are in gold compared to silver, bronze, platinum, diamond, etc. But in other games that have similar matchmaking systems, you normally see the greatest number of players are around that kind of gold level. That's where the majority of people will be. So obviously it makes sense, if the matchmaking system is super strict and trying to keep you just players of your level, that it will have an easier time finding games for you in gold compared to what you'll have if you're in the lower end, so bronze and silver, where most players will probably work through those leagues super quickly because it doesn't take that many SR to get through, and those games are a little bit easier than normal games. And then when you get to platinum and above, obviously progression slows down a lot because the players up in those leagues are really, really difficult. So a lot of people won't get much further than that because, you know, they'll lose SR, they won't manage to make any progress, or they'll just get put off by playing ranked because it gets too difficult for them. It means gold will be the place where you'll have the easiest time finding matches, and that's definitely what we found so far. Now, the other aspect to this, which we haven't talked about so far in this video, but I was talking to my chat about, was cheaters. So I mentioned earlier the fact that we haven't really seen any cheaters, and we had that weird thing where we saw lots of people getting kicked at the start of games, and that's what I thought it was. But it wasn't anything to do with cheating, it's just people who have their games crash and then all their teammates get kicked. But I haven't seen any cheaters, like I said, in any of the games that we've played so far. And I think this is quite a nice kind of side effect of the ranked mode, is that once you get past those kind of early leagues, once you get out of bronze and silver, I think you're actually quite unlikely to see cheaters, because people who cheat, at least people who cheat obviously, are getting banned. And I know there's people out there who say, oh no, all of these people are cheating, all these streamers are cheating and stuff, and they never get banned. It's nonsense, it's not true. But the people who do cheat, people who I've spoken to who do cheat, have told me that they get their accounts banned super quickly. So they'll often be able to play for sometimes a few hours, sometimes a few days, and then their account will get banned. And obviously they just get another account and they just carry on playing and carry on cheating. But that does mean that they kind of don't have access to ranked, because it takes a long while. Even if you have really good games, it's still going to take you a couple of days to get out of gold, to get up to platinum. It took us, I think, about 4 days while I was playing, maybe 3. And, you know, we're not the best players in the world, but also not the worst. I think my kill def was over 4 for the time that I was doing that. So that makes me think once you get past kind of gold and into platinum and above, you're very unlikely to see any cheaters, because in the time it takes them to get there, they're fairly likely to have been caught, they're fairly likely to have been banned or shadow banned and not be able to take part in ranked anymore. So hopefully, if you want to play Call of Duty and you want to play against people at your skill level and you don't want to be worrying about cheaters, ranked should be the perfect option for you. Anyway, this is just my experience of ranked, and obviously the people that I play with and the people who watch my streams. Let me know in the comments what you've noticed so far. Has the matchmaking been this good for you? Have you managed to run across any cheaters while you're playing ranked? I'd be super interested to hear from you. Also, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one. Goodbye.